Hello, everyone, and welcome to Zest Zen with me, Shel Marie, the podcast that will take you on a journey from the hustle to the harmony, fueling your passion whilst finding your peace. Today, I am super excited to welcome Annamaria, aka the Red Heel Boss, a brand visionary, feminine energy coach, and the founder of the Red Heel Boss. She helps conscious female coaches and course creators master visibility and effortlessly scale to multi-six figures without shrinking, which is super important. Through her signature approach of desire-led leadership and brand magnetism, she guides women to step into their full power, lead with confidence, and build businesses that feel aligned, effortless, and unstoppable. I am super excited to dive into this with her. And first of all, before we introduce her, I just want to congratulate her on her new book, which has such a powerful name in itself, which is Naked Womanizer, Your Inner Rebel for Every Woman Who Dares to Dream Bigger. If that's not setting the stage for this woman, I don't know what is. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you?
I'm great, and thank you so much for having me. I'm super grateful and very excited. It's every platform that gives me a chance apart from what I'm building with my team is great because my biggest goal is to reach out to as many women as possible and help them in their journey.
Amazing, absolutely, that's beautiful. And with that in mind, just you use so many strong, influential words in all that you do. From even the word womanizer, which often, it doesn't seem like a woman would use that word, but I would just love to know the background behind it because I feel like you've done that on purpose to really change the mindset.
Yes, absolutely. You are bang on with that. So it was really important to stand out from the first glance. So the book cover, the design itself, and the name, and the explanation, what it means, awaken your inner rebel. They are so vital for every woman. Um, if you had known me, and it's in the book as well in more details, but if you had known me even just 5 years ago, you wouldn't have recognized it was the same person you see today and here today. So I was extremely self-cautious. I had no self-esteem. I was always staying quiet, and I never spoke up for myself, even if it was just a very simple topic. So it goes way, way back, to my upbringing and how the world and society operated in general in those days. But unfortunately, it's still present. So that's why it's so important for me just to raise awareness that women are so beautiful inside and out and able to do anything they want. So hence the call to action, dare to dream bigger, because women are just very, very capable, but we have a bad reputation, so to speak. We are encouraged or sometimes forced to shrink, to play small, and just really stay in the background. And it's so interesting, the journey with my brand. If I can go on a long tangent here.
No,
But
I want to hear all this. This is beautiful. Thank you.
I went through this evolution with my brand as well. So I started working on myself about 5 years ago, and I realized that I wasn't feeling comfortable in my own skin. I felt like a nobody, that I didn't matter. If I disappeared, no one would notice, and all these awful feelings. And that was pretty much the story of my brand as well. So I started actually under the brand name with Annamaria, and I was hiding behind really pretty pictures from Canva, and I told really valuable information but there was no me inside, no personality, no personal experiences, no personal opinions or voices. I couldn't stand up for things I believed in. So it didn't resonate with anyone because, things you could Google. You don't go to a creator to hear something that you already know or you can find elsewhere. So in that sense, we need to stand out, and where people go wrong, they think that, oh, it has to be complicated or we need to reinvent the wheel, but it's not true. Just your power being you is enough. That's all we need. So once I was really struggling the first 18 months of my business. I was just pretending to have a business, I always say. Honestly, I only sold a $17 little guide, and that was all,
Yeah.
nothing else. And then I felt that, I have a calling and I need to honor it and answer it. And that was really to stand up for women who have no voice, who don't want to show up online or any situation in life because there is always the judgment and the fear of failure or not being loved or accepted. So one night I so remember, and whoever is following me may have already heard this story, but it was just so significant and it shows what's possible once we become authentic and we shed all the limitations that are placed on us, and we integrate them as well, unfortunately. So when I just said to myself, I just can't do this anymore. I don't care who says what. I'm just letting it all out. And that's when I created the Red Hill Boss, this brand with the logo, the branding colors and the bold style and voice, and just really speaking up and tackling taboo topics, and just speak up, rebel against what is not meant for us, and
Yeah.
all these things. And I put everything together, my banner, my headline on LinkedIn, and the About Us section, and all of it. And I remember like it was yesterday that I just shut my computer. I was already in bed. I was exhausted. It was pretty late, but I was on the mission to, upload everything. And when I woke up, I got so many messages and comments on my post. I love the red heels. I love
Wow.
what you represent. I love your energy. That was the biggest thing for me. With the very low self-esteem and no self-belief in
Mm,
myself, that was kind of a pinch me. Is that true?
wow.
People and women can sense my energy through a short post or a DM or just my whole presence online. So it was just so beautiful, finally, to be able to be the light for others. And that's what my book represents as well.
Wow. There's just so much in that because it's ironic you've just mentioned that, and I'm sure you can heavily relate to this, but my last guest was just talking about how the energy we put in is always felt. And I really truly believe this. And I feel like because like what you said, you had that enough is enough, and you just
Mhm.
went, do you know what? No, okay, I'm just gonna show me. And it was foul. It was really foul.
Yeah.
And I think that's so powerful. And like just to direct people to your book, which is behind you, the image, even the image itself, is so I feel like so many men would be like, whoa, because it's a powerful woman, she's strong, she's in her power, and even the words, and then women would equally be like, oh, what's maybe this person written about, and it's just so
Yeah.
clever what you've done. Like I remember seeing the image and just being like, just the image alone, just being like, wow, like again, the energy that you've put into that image is super powerful.
Yeah,
So thank you
absolutely.
for sharing all of that.
Thank you. And just really going from insecure and feeling insignificant to intentional and abundant. It
Yes.
was just such an eye opener to me what's possible when we give ourselves a little credit and we try to shut up the negative Nancy and the mean girl in our head. So there is a whole chapter for this one as well in the book. So I'm walking through every woman a four-phase journey, what it takes to break free from all the everything that we made to believe and everything that we started believing ourselves. And honestly, I'm the best example. So if I could come from people pleasing and validation seeking and just practically, even though to the naked eye, I did successful things before as well, and my biggest pride is being a mother.
Yeah.
That's my most important role always in my whole life. But I just knew that I really just dimmed my lights so much because I thought this was the way, that was the only way to live, this to fulfill this role and expectations. And that was it for me. And when I realized that, no, actually, what do I want from life? What do I like?
Yeah.
What do I desire? What do I want to achieve? What is my purpose and calling? That's when things started shifting.
Yeah.
So the book is walking everyone through from awakening to the shift to emotional independence. And this is very, very important because until we believe that we need to rely on somebody to be successful, to be happy,
Yeah.
we cannot achieve our full potential. So once we work through this, then we can achieve financial freedom. And this is the beauty, that it's given for everyone. It's not reserved to a lucky few. It's everyone's birthright to craft a life and business that they enjoy, and they can never have enough. They don't need to escape from these things, and it's just so important.
Wow, thank you so much. And the moment you mentioned about being a mother as well, I would love your take on this. Just thinking back to a comment I said to my mum, I remember very heavily, and she was a very young mum. And she was, I guess, in her own way, in her power, with her, her bright hair, her very out there clothes. And even as a child, I remember being like, why do you look like that? And I think this is really, I don't know, I just feel like there's a link here of, there's this almost like, when you are a mother, oh, you can't wear that anymore. Why are you behaving like that? Even, maybe down to even having images like as strong and powerful as your book of like, no, you're children, you're a mother. And there's so much this like pressure and this, again, a next level of kind of almost suppressing the female again. Like, you don't have the kind of dad being like, oh, no, put your clothes on at the beach, like you're a dad. But there's this like, again, like, oh, can I wear a bikini anymore? Can I do this? Can I do this? And I think, yeah, there's just, and I remember like now, I remember it, I just knowing as a young child that I'd really hurt my mum, and I made her really feel like she still was her, she still became her. But I know that like that comment, just from an innocent child, I didn't know what I was saying, of just comparing, is, it has a big effect, and it's another layer to actually stop. I am a mother, but who am I, and who can I be, and to be that role model for your children, that no, we don't all have to look the same and be the same. This is mummy, this is me, and this is who I am.
Yeah, definitely. And oh my gosh, there is so much to it. So I would go back a step, that this shame and guilt is put on girls, and the way that, you need to be polite, you need to be helping others. It doesn't matter how you feel, and you shouldn't be wearing that, you should be wearing that, and your hair has to be pretty. We have to do these things for ourselves. So unfortunately, it comes from a very young age. And you are right, when we become mothers, then it's like, whoa, you are a mother and that's it. It's not a life sentence. We can be so many other things. And that's why I love helping and end up helping a lot of multi-passionate women. Because everyone is saying, oh, niche done, but it's just like a torture for us. Like, we have so many things in life. Just imagine the roles we are fulfilling: a mother, a partner, a daughter, a friend, volunteer at school, football club, whatsoever. We are housemaids and finance managers for the house and organizing holidays. And so we do so much, and it's the same in business. Why should we just try to fit into one box? All my clients come to me and they struggle with how to find their niche, because that's the main advice in the industry. And I tell them, no, no, you don't have to have one niche. You can have multiple niches, you can have multiple problems you focus on. And within that journey, once, and they say, oh my gosh, I'm always so infuriated when people try to force me to come down to niche down, and all
Yeah.
all these things. But as we work together, because I give them the space, I hold space for them to be whoever, whatever they want to be, and be able to recognize their brilliance and answer their calling, they usually discover that they are more passionate about one or two areas than the others, and they can still do everything. But then they start going that direction because it's like really lights them up, and it's just wonderful. But back to just how women are expected to be, and we are labeled all the time like, oh, too loud, too quiet, too ambitious, too tall, too short, too slutty, too pretty, too revealing clothing. It's like, too high maintenance because we are doing makeup and stuff. And what I told before, we are, it's, the main thing here is that we are doing it for ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm not putting on a clothes or doing my hair or makeup or nails just to appeal to someone. It's not how we operate. We just want to feel good in our skin and about ourselves. So why can't people accept it that they have no business about our looks or style or whatsoever? We are just expressing ourselves, and if you don't like it, then turn away and move on. It's fine. It's a big
Yeah.
enough word for everyone. So especially once we become mothers, then it's like we have to become also a nun, and just sacrifice our
Yeah.
whole life for the family and cook, and look after the kids, and that's it. And when women are working in careers or running their own businesses, but your children are missing out. And no, actually, my children are not missing out. They are seeing me happy. I
Yes.
can be the
Yes.
best version of themselves. And on the other side, of course, I show the lead by example that anything is possible and they can craft the life how they want, so they don't have to go with whatever is suggested by the mainstream. But also, they see the sacrifices we sometimes have to make, because if someone says that, oh, running a business from the very beginning is easy. No, it's just because we already are doing so many things. Of course, it's a big thing to take on. And what I see from especially heart-led, purpose-driven entrepreneurs, that they are good at what they do, whether it's life coaching or nutrition or spiritual guidance. Uh, and it's a shock to the system that there are so many other things need to be done: the marketing, the website, the
Yes.
branding, the messaging, the email marketing, and using different platforms. So getting like a tech guru, and there's so many aspects that is not our expertise when we start out. So when sorry, where was I going with
No,
this
no,
one? I
I
lost
think
the
that's
chain
super
of my
important what
thoughts.
you said because, yeah, we go in and then before we know it, we're an editor, we're a creator, we're a writer, because like what you said, which I really would like to emphasize, is I think you said, was it 17 months or something of
Yeah.
we don't have sometimes the resources, the finances, the money to pay the person that's going to give us this many for £70. Like even £70 to start with is a lot,
Mm.
because you have to, especially when you have external circumstances of, you've still got to live. And I really appreciate you mentioning all that because yeah, we we don't always have that luxury to start with of being able to have someone that's an expert in that field to help us, or to
Yeah.
do the funnels, or to do the different
Yeah.
parts. So thank
Yeah.
you for
And I'd love
mentioning
to
that.
see an example. I just literally talked to a client this morning, and her website is beautiful, but um, certain things don't work in a way that would be able to convert or take the visitors on a journey, and just a couple of things that I audited. And I was explaining it to her, like, this is why you're not getting anything from your website. It's pretty, but it's just like a window, it's one-sided. And you lose clients because, the information is not right there. So we went through a couple of things, and I screenshotted, what she needed to change and all these things. And she said, wow, no one ever explained it to me like this. I had no idea. I don't know marketing. I always hated it. It's a struggle for me. But you explain it so clearly. Now I understand. It makes 100% sense. So now I know what to change. So this is a perfect example that um, we can be resourceful, but because it's not our expertise, it can be a struggle. And I think I
Yeah.
was lucky because I was running businesses after my first daughter was born. So it was 18 years ago when I started out with my businesses. And I always ended up doing my own marketing and graphics and logo. And that time it was street posts as well, and flyers, and online marketing. Even I did advertising. And because I'm really creative with my hands and mind as well, I really enjoyed it. So that's how it came about in my business to run an agency as well, a do it for you marketing and branding agency, because I had so many ideas that honestly I was just overflooded and was driving myself crazy. And now that I have clients to do it for, then I can unleash all my creativity for other people. But what's easy for me, they could never do it to the level, and they shouldn't, because that's a waste of their time and energy
Yeah.
in their business.
Yeah, I think that's super powerful. And even me now, I'm thinking, yeah, is it just a pretty window? Or, like actually step away from it being your little creation, Shelley, that you enjoy doing. When someone enters your website, is there a purpose? Are they clearly being directed around it? So even in that, you've
Yeah.
got me thinking now of, and I had people say, but I'm like, I feel like because I created it, it's my baby, but you
Yeah.
can appreciate artwork, but what are you getting from it? So thank you for that. Even me now, you've got me thinking. Really, really powerful. So, gosh, there's so much you've mentioned already. And something that I really felt like I'd love your take on. Well, you've kind of explored this anyway, but going back to what you've kind of shared about going from, well, it's not going from, because it's still a journey. We have our ups and our downs days. No one is like fully now, currently embodying like empowered woman all the time, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
No.
We have to be kind to
Yeah.
ourselves. But I read this article, actually, I think it was yesterday, like the synchronicity and the timing. And it was I met such a rude, outspoken, so full of herself woman. And then she put dot, dot, dot. Please send me her details. I want to know who she is. I want to be friends with her. And I just thought, wow, that's such a spin, because again, and it's not saying you being rude or something, but there is going back to that. It's the interpretation and the defining of the person receiving it. And if she has her own voice, or she doesn't agree and she's not people pleaser and good girl, there is that
Mm,
element of, you are going to have some people, say, who does she think she
mm,
is? She's so outspoken. And it really made me think very differently about this, that yeah, like actually it is a courageous and bold move, and it is someone that it takes, a lot for her to be full in her power and say, not have to
Mm,
be rude, but say, no, I don't agree with that, or, and
yeah,
suggest something else. And I think it's really powerful, and we should celebrate that.
definitely. Like, just imagine how boring the world would be if we were all like just an example, like Barbie dolls, Ken and Barbie.
Yeah.
Everyone would be the same, sing the same, and
Yeah.
dress the same, and acted the same. We would lose our minds, right? So we,
Yeah.
we, we do have to. This is one of the most attractive human quality for me in others, that inclusiveness and open-mindedness, just exploration, that
Mm.
okay, I haven't thought of that approach before. Let's play with it a little. Instead of jumping into conclusions or judgments, just give room for everyone, because we don't know half of the story, what people have been through and why they are, even if they are acting out. And this is actually a very important thing. Once again, I think a real judgment of a character, or the true colors of a character, is how they treat people who they don't benefit from, or they are sick or injured or old or vulnerable in any sense. How do they treat them? And I think that
Yeah.
shows if a
This is
person is
so
a good person
important.
or not.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is so important. And even personally, like, I've noticed this, and it's not saying bad, but literally what you've said of, like, I always seem to look how they speak to the waiter or the person helping,
Mm,
because
yeah.
I don't know, there's just something where, Mr. Charming or whatever, and it's not always got to be a man or someone, and then they literally, at the tiniest thing of, like, well, yes, I need a fork, and I'm like, whoa, where did that come from, like,
Mm,
pulling the chair out, everything is like giving, but then, like, obviously there are circumstances and ways to deal with things,
yeah.
but it's very true what you say, like, because eventually, like what they say, there's a thin line between love and hate and things like that. So if this
Mm,
person is not consistent in their behavior, and they are almost a chameleon, and they change depending on the person
mm.
and the situation and the room, what version are they really, and
Yes,
again, yeah,
absolutely.
we all have our ups
And
and down days, but I
yeah,
think there's
yeah, of course.
recognizing that and being like, oh gosh, I'm sorry,
Mm,
I don't know why I just expressed, like, you just always need to read the room, I think, business and
yeah,
professionally.
definitely. And the main thing here, because you mentioned, of course, we are human, we are going to make mistakes, things will get to us, we will be exhausted, or,
Yeah.
emotionally more down than other times. But if we have good intentions,
Yeah.
and like you said, we admit that okay, that wasn't quite right what
Mm,
I did or said, and we
mm.
stand up for it, own it, and apologize or make it
Yeah,
right whatsoever, then that's fine. So if the intentions are good, it happens to the best of us.
of
But
course. Yeah.
yeah, if someone is just purposely, they don't care, they just step over people and they don't consider how those things make them feel, that's when problems start. And I was always empathize, back to my book and my whole mission, that I'm not against men at all, because
No.
if we talk about categorizing people, I put them in a good human and not so great human category, right?
I love that.
And it can be any gender. Um, and actually, I'm so lucky, because both from my family and from a friend circle, I have absolutely amazing male friends in my life, and relatives that I looked up to when I was younger, or while they were around. And actually, three of my very close friends were one of the first ones who either purchased my book, read it,
Amazing.
shared my post regarding my books, and they know the struggles I've been through. And actually, one of them just said it a couple of days ago, that do you realize how important it is what you did? Because it's not like you withdrew yourself in a mountain cabin and for a month and you wrote the book. You had to do 5 million things for your daughters in the meantime, and you are running two businesses and you are growing yourself. You are going through
Wow.
emotional things, and changing your life for the better. Yet you wrote this book because it was so important to you to get this message out. So it just really hit home hard because it was such a beautiful way to put it. And then another person recognizing it in me, that's just so deep and meaningful. And I wanted to tie in what you said at the beginning, that even for men to see this book, and I
Yes.
actually, that's how I see it, that it can be their guide, a little window and insight into our deeper struggles and emotions and desires.
Yeah.
And of course, only a good supportive man would pick up this book, and as they have a couple of my friends. But it's really their chance as well, just to, because sometimes it's so hard to communicate these things as women, and in a relationship, and then hearing it from somewhere else, it can make them think, and they can start the right conversations with their partners and or
Yeah.
daughters or any significant woman in their lives, whether it's a colleague or a friend or a family member. And yeah, I'm really happy with this aspect because I didn't think of it when I started writing the book. But how it shaped up and came about. Yeah, so it can serve many
I love
purposes.
that. And I think again that's so powerful what you've mentioned, because the example I think of straight away is men all sat around asking other men for advice about women, and women sat around asking advice for about men. And I know that there's different scenarios, but just generally speaking, but we don't realize the gem is in the opposite sex, it's in picking up that box. You don't need to go and ask your friend who's also navigating and working out, oh, well, I don't know, she does it as well. Oh, wow, look, you've got literally a woman who has revealed all the secrets to you, to the women.
Yeah.
Pick it up and you will get into the
Yeah.
mind of the
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah. Read it today, thank me later.
Exactly. So that's the other reason why I love the way you've created it, because I know again it would just naturally, men would be naturally, whether they read the title or not, just attracted to it, and women would all equally. It's so clever, and that shows how incredible you are, and how yeah you're an absolute
Thank
leader in
you.
your field for branding, and even with your name. Like I've had different guests on here, and I always remember their name. I will always remember
Mhm.
what their name goes by. And like with you, it's even though I remember your first name, but the brand name really stands.
Mhm.
And it's so
Yeah.
clever, so clever. Um,
Thank you. And I really
wow.
believe that was a guidance more like than my own idea, because people ask me, how did you come up with it? I don't know. It was just there, you
Yeah.
know. And then even when I was called with Annamaria in my brand, I already had this domain name reserved. So I was paying it for over a year and a half before using it. I just thought, oh, maybe I do like a master program or
Mm-mm.
a master class or something, with this name. But and I once again I can't explain. I didn't think it through that. Oh, actually now I'm going to switch to the Red Hill Boss. It just happened.
Mm.
So I became really soulful, which was always in me, but I suppressed it. Spiritual, just exploring that it's of course more than our body. And
Yeah.
I'm also very big on incorporating mind, body, soul, spirit, heart into everything I'm doing, because it takes every cell of you to
I can feel
operate
that.
at your best for your family, for your loved ones, and for your clients and business as well. So if it's like a tripod, and if one of the legs are not stable, then everything wobbles or falls over. So it's really really important to look after ourselves because we give so much. And that's, once again, self-love is a very big thing. And a book is coming out about that one as well. So the Naked is a series of books where I have all
Wow,
these
how
topics
exciting.
that, yeah. And, self-love always comes with guilt. We feel like if we put down that mop or the sponge in the kitchen, or the wooden spoon, the world will collapse and everyone will look at us that how horrible we are, which is not true because we can't give from an empty cup, which is, I know, such a cliche, but it's very hard to really start doing the things for ourselves when we feel so guilty, and it's just hammered in us that we shouldn't. But maybe it's not even with words always. It's not like we were told not to do these things, but we feel like we shouldn't be, and it's coming from somewhere, of course. So with that mindset, it's just so hard to start practicing the self-love.
Yeah.
So that's a big topic, and I'm excited about writing that book too.
But even that in itself, even that is super important what you've just said. I am excited. So all that excitement is going to go into your book, and that's what's felt. And I'm a big believer in that, of even when I go to write a post. I remember I was in this phase of like, wanting to write every day, and then I lost that joy, and I said, no, don't. You write when you want to write and you feel passionate to write because it's felt, So
Yeah,
thank you so much
definitely.
for that.
I love to share something here because I think even for me, I catch myself sometimes everything feels so hard and it's like a chore or a duty, and I lose my mojo for things I do, and I feel really worn out and tired. And my personal trainer, so actually, I have a whole team of professionals looking after me and working with me, and I'm just so amazed because I didn't see that happening even 2 years ago. So it's just amazing. So one of them is my personal trainer, and we lift really heavy. She loves pushing me. She knows how not to break me, although this Monday she nearly did, but it was
You needed
volunteer
it
from my
clearly.
side. Yeah,
She's like, you
exactly.
listen, you're gonna pick that up this week and throw
Yeah.
it.
So she's absolutely amazing because there is a lesson in this one as well. So she laid the foundation of building up to being able to lift heavy because we got the technique right, and the core strengths and the exercises that lead to my big goals of achieving the unassisted pull-ups and more
Wow.
um, push-ups and things like that. So hang on, where was I going with this one? Yeah, so yes, I know. So she said, when we go to something really heavy, she says, it's easy. Light as a feather. I was born to do this.
Wow.
And I just found it so refreshing, and I started applying it in, every area when I feel like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. Like, I have one thing after the other, and just feels like it's a pretty full on day or week. And I just stop, and first of all, I really believe that I don't have to do anything. I get to do things,
Yeah.
and it's my choice, and it's amazing. It's not a burden on me what I'm doing for my girls because they are my everything, my why. But sometimes we get tired, and all these feelings can come up, and yeah, I just say to myself, no, that's easy. I was born to do this. Easy peasy. I knock it out of the park. That's it.
Beautiful. Wise words. I love that. And there's something so powerful about saying it aloud, isn't there? Really like
Mm,
hearing it. Because I think often there's so much in the mind. But yeah, really
mhm.
speaking it aloud is almost like it's external to us, isn't it? And then
Yeah,
we hear it, which
yeah,
is beautiful.
yeah. But
Thank
it's
you
so
so
important to be
much.
able to, oh, sorry. It's
No,
just so
no.
important to be able to pause, you know, without guilt, of course, once again, and
Yeah.
just give ourselves the permission to just to be, because that's where the magic happens, not when we try to push and we are stressed and trying to meet deadlines. And sometimes we have to do that, of course. That's dance with the feminine and the masculine
Yeah,
energy
yeah,
sometimes. But more power in why do we get all these ideas in the shower or in the bath
yeah,
or where
yeah.
we are walking in the forest, right? Because we are relaxed and easy, and that's when
Mm,
creativity and magic happens. So that, once again, it has such a bad light, so we just have to turn around so many things in our minds that don't serve us and just let them go. I always say, just be playful. What's the worst that can happen? Just try this on, try that on, and
yeah.
see how it feels. See what changes. Is there any negative effects, like our minds are making these stories up, or is there any benefit to all these things? So it's just really important to pause and give ourselves permission to be.
Amazing. Wow, what a beautiful conversation. I've really enjoyed this. Thank you so much. Um, so just thinking about people listening, what's the best way that they could reach out to you?
I'm nearly on every social media with the @Red Hill
Well, I'll
Boss.
put everything in the description anyway, so don't
Thank
worry about
you.
having to reel it off. But what I also
And
always love my guests to do just before they go, even though you've given so many already incredible words, is if someone just listening right now, just anything off the top of your head, you feel like they would really need to hear, what would you tell them?
mm, it's just once again to stop and breathe and look inwards for answers before turning for any external answers or validation, because I believe that everyone has what it takes to succeed, whatever it is. There is no dreams too big. But we have to believe in ourselves first. So if we just really, and I know it's much harder to execute, so it's easier said than done. But honestly, so that's my job. That's my main job in my business, to pull that belief and brilliance
Yeah.
out of women, or make them see it, and most importantly, feel into it. So there is a bit of a process, just
Yeah.
like in my book, the 4 phases. With this work, I have a simple process to go through, and then when they realize on their own, and oh, actually I got this, and the shift from there is just so beautiful. So that's what I'm encouraging everyone, just to really, really believe in themselves, and see that whatever ideas come up, or dreams, they are there for a reason, and they would not be there if they were not
Mm.
able to execute them and make them happen. So just go after your dreams, and it doesn't matter even if the odds are against you,
Yeah.
or everything points to a different direction. It's just important to go after what we are meant to do in this world, because life is so precious.
Absolutely, and that beautifully ties into what you wrote on your book of, every woman who dares to dream bigger and then
Yes.
to go after them. So, wow, absolutely amazing. You have been so fabulous. I've really enjoyed this conversation, and I know I too have taken so much from it. And yeah, I appreciate you and all you're doing, and I'm excited for the series.
Wonderful. And if someone is interested in the book, it's just the redhillboss.com/womanizer book. And that's where you find, I have amazing over $2,000 worth of bonuses.
Wow.
For a little longer, you get a self-activation journal, which takes 3 days. There is a giveaway for my 1 year membership, which is over $1,200 dollars value. And I'm starting up a special circle, an exclusive circle for women who buy the book, or men. as well. And there are goodies in the book as well. So once you read it, I have a couple of amazing surprises for you.
Wow, amazing. And with all you were mentioning, that's the thing that just screamed out the most to me was community, community, community.
Hmm.
Amazing. And yeah, I believe we need to be building these communities where we help each other, uplift each other and
Hmm.
thrive, not pull each other down or compare,
Definitely.
even though a lot of the
Yeah.
time we're not meaning to. It's just the programs we've been carrying out until
Mm.
we take, like what you say, take time to pause, reflect, and think, no, do you know what? I choose to change this. And that's where it
Yeah,
changes. So thank you so
definitely.
much.
No, you are very welcome, and everyone who is listening, and you share, thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.